These two places will not hire convicted felons. I know from experience because I applied at both of these places as a felon and as a convict. And in one instance, I was still on parole, or I had just got off of parole, and I applied at one of these places and they did not hire me. So we're going to jump right into it because I'm sure you're very concerned as someone watching this who is either a convicted felon who's been released from prison, somebody who's on probation and has a felony, and they're experiencing what it is to be a felon for the first time, and they're still trying to find employment, and they're wondering how this works, and they're scared. They don't know how they're going to provide for their family. They don't know how they're going to make a living. And these are all legitimate thoughts. And another thing is, you may know someone. You may have a son, a daughter, a husband. You may have someone in your family, even an uncle, a close friend, an aunt, someone who has a felony and they can't find work and it's weighing them down. Employment is an important part of who we are as people. It helps identify us as people, and it helps give us a place in society where we feel needed and wanted. It's important to be communal in society, right? And part of that has to do with the work that we do. We want to be able to do something meaningful and something that matters. We want to be able to be involved and be productive, and work provides that opportunity. Now, of course, you could say, go work for yourself. I know it's easier said than done to say, go work for yourself. I've worked for myself and I've worked for other people. I've been blessed enough to where I had just had to work for myself, and I trusted God, and opportunities and doors were open because other doors were shut. And I do believe that God had a hand in my life and guiding me and giving me employment when I need, because I wasn't scared to work. I was going to work, but sometimes the opportunities wasn't there for me. And this is the first one. So one thing I was always good at, and not good at, yeah, as good as the word, not a master, but good at. I was good at art. I was decent at it, did it my whole life, as a kid, off and on, never consistently, but I learned enough about it to be able to get by in prison. I used it as my side hustle, and I was always good at writing. I'm better at writing than I am in art, because I've always written my whole life. I remember even as a young kid, I remember writing raps and writing songs, and I've always been a storyteller, and I've always got my mind's always creating. I don't have a lack of creativity in my mind. I got lists of things written. I've all kind of writings. So I'm always thinking and always creating. And I needed a job, and me and my wife were newly married, and I was looking for an opportunity. And so I went apply for a job at Hobby Lobby. Now, here's the story. I filled out the application. I talked to the manager, and me and the manager were talking. Now, keep in mind, I'm in the South. I'm in Louisiana, and we all know about Hobby Lobby. And I'm feeling good about myself because I did my research. Hobby Lobby is a Christian-owned and organized company. It's Christian run. The ownership is Christian. It's Christian founded. I'm a Christian. I'm a felon. Man, surely Christians believe in second chances more than anybody. So I got this manager. He goes over my application. He's looking at it. He's talking to me. And they were really in need of people. And you got to keep in mind, this is in the early 2000s. And he looks at my application and he's excited. He shakes my hand. He gives me a tour of the whole Hobby Lobby store. We talk about it. I share my passion for art. He says, you will be a perfect fit for this place. You are who we're looking for. It's going to be so good to get you on our team. And so we're talking. He glances at my application. He's a manager. The supervisor put me through to him. And so this is the manager. We walk around and we go sit in his office and we're going over the paperwork. And he's saying, man, when can you start? I said, man, I can start next week. He said, great. We're looking forward. He said, can you show up tomorrow for some kind of orientation? I said, I'll be here tomorrow. This is all done. This is set in stone. And I'm in my 20s at this time, my late 20s. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're in late 20s and you're trying to get a job at Hobby Lobby. Man, I was fresh out of prison. I was trying to reestablish myself, and I was willing to do whatever it took, including take a menial pay position at Hobby Lobby. I'd have worked at Burger King if they'd have let me. So I went and did the application. We sitting down talking. We get to know each other. He's liking me. I'm liking him. And then all of a sudden, he's sitting across from me in his desk, and he's looking over. He's kind of glancing over my application. And the application back then was it was either stapled or it was a packet. And he was flipping through the pages, and it might have been 5 or 6 pages. And the part that he was getting to was like one of the last pages. And he didn't pay attention when he was talking to me on it. He just looked at, my name, my address, and all that stuff. So he gets to the last page and it says, wait, he said, you're convicted. And that's how he does. Man, you cat got your tongue? Yes, I'm convicted of a felony. I didn't say it like that, but that's what, and actually I wasn't even boasted up and ready to attack this dude verbally or get on a defensive, because I was more heartbroken that I knew what was coming. I was ashamed of being a convicted felon. I was ashamed of being a convict and being released from prison. I was always trying to hide that from people. I felt like people would judge me. And it was something that even though when I was younger, being a thug and being involved, handling your business and, getting that reputation, being in prison, doing what you had to do, that was badges of honor, but not no more. Not as I had made a conscious effort that I didn't want to live like that no more. And now this dude's looking at my application and he says, "You're a convicted felon." I said, "Yes, I'm a convicted felon." And he says, "We can't hire you." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What was you convicted of?" I said, "I got my convictions of possession with intent to distribute, and I have a drive-by shooting." He said, "Yeah, we can't, not those charges. We can't hire people with those charges." "What you mean with those charges?" Most people don't want to hire nobody with no violent charges. And they also have a thing where they don't want to hire people with drug charges. So Hobby Lobby did not hire me. So I know for a fact, Hobby Lobby, I hope you hear me. And I don't recant, and I ain't going to come out and apologize for what I'm saying. Hobby Lobby, from my own personal experience, what I've been through, they wouldn't hire me because I was a felon. And it was a shame, because I believed in Hobby Lobby as a Christian organization. Christian organizations, Chick-fil-A, you better check yourself. And I'm saying that, man, because I support Christian organizations. I believe in them. As a Christian, I believe you should have a right to stand up for your faith and say this is the kind of organization we are, no matter what it is. And you shouldn't be silenced for it neither. Everybody got their own beliefs. So you don't get to silence no Christian organization because they disagree with your beliefs. Cry somewhere else. So they didn't hire me. I was disappointed. I felt some kind of way for a long time. Anyway, Hobby Lobby's prices are too high anyway, so that's really why I don't shop there. But I did feel some kind of way. I had my feelings involved in it. They didn't hire me. I needed a job. And that's where I eventually did what I knew how to do, what my dad taught me how to do, which was be a roofer. And I just did roofing work through word of mouth. It was after Hurricane Katrina. I lived in the New Orleans area. So there was lots of roofs to do. And so I did a lot of roofing work, and I stayed busy with that. And I did roofing before I went to prison. So I knew how to roof. And so I did that, and that's when I worked for myself. But fast forward to about 10 years after that, me and my wife are living in New Orleans, and the Uber thing blows up. My wife is doing Uber for side hustle. I want to get involved with a side hustle too. I have a good job, but I would like to do Uber on the weekends because I had this idea it would be great for me and my wife to be on the streets Ubering at the same time. And that was what I was excited about. We can communicate with each other on the weekends. We can get our side hustle, get our little money for extra spending for us to, because we're doing better. At this time, I have a good job. My Monday through Friday job, or not just my Monday through Friday, it was more like my on-call job. Or at this time, I'm actually involved in safety and training. So I'm the safety and training supervisor manager at my company. So I'm working Monday through Friday. Yes, I'm on call sometimes, but I could fit Uber in because I knew I'd be off on weekends in the evening times. And I want to Uber with my wife. My wife is a student and she's Ubering on the side to help with the bills and do everything we got to do. So I want to Uber with her. Man, I go apply at Uber. Now, keep in mind, I've been off probation and parole, not probation, but probation, parole, same thing. You know what I'm talking about. I'm off parole now for over 10 years. And I go to Uber, and this is supposed to be, from what I understand, Uber is a very liberal company. So I go to Uber to get the job. Oh, no, they don't hire convicted felons. And all that social justice, they don't hire convicted felons, bunch of chumps. They don't have to hire anybody, do what they want. But I was kind of disappointed, because I had a long stretch where I've been out of prison. I hadn't been in trouble. Actually, I was more contribute to society than most people who never been convicted of a felony. And that's a whole story for another time. But Uber wouldn't hire me. And I was disappointed. I got in my feelings again. And I really wanted to do that with my wife. But convicted felon. No, Uber wouldn't hire you neither. So that's two companies I know for a fact from my own personal experience that will not hire or would not hire a convicted felon. If you're a convicted felon and you've been hired by either one of those companies, please share in the comments. If you know somebody who was a convicted felon who was hired by either of those companies, share in the comments. Because I'm curious. They told me no. They didn't just shut the door. Boom! They slammed the door right in my face. Get out of here, you punk. That's basically what they told me. Go figure it out. And they wonder why. And see, I'm blessed because I have God on my side. But a lot of people don't. They don't even believe in God. And they're struggling. They're going to go back. And some people who do believe in God just get so frustrated. They go back to dealing. They go back to robbing. They go back to doing stuff that they don't need to do. And they wind up back in prison. That's how the recidivism rate is so high. You got to think about it, man. You got to give people a shot to work, no matter what the charge is. That's a whole nother thing, too. And I get it. Yeah, if you got certain charges, you don't need to be at certain places. Like if you got one of those sick charges where you did something you shouldn't have did with them little ones, you don't need to be working nowhere near no school, period. But you got to give a dude a shot to cut grass. You got to let him pick up paper. You got to let him flip burgers, do something. Because the taxpayers' money is going to pay for it. So we got to allow, no matter who the felon is, we got, as a society, we got to have some kind of work for them. Or they're going to be more of a drain on society and more drain on taxpayers. It's better to let them be productive and add to society some kind of value. Even if you don't like them or like what they did, we have to have opportunities for people to work in society. Employment is important, and I'm talking about this because this needs to be spoken about. And this is raw and real, unscripted. This is my feelings again. We need to provide employment opportunities. And you know what else? We don't need to be giving jobs overseas. We need more jobs in America. People are being released from prison every day. The unemployment rate is crazy. I live in New Orleans, right around. People ain't working. They're laying on the taxpayers' leg. Some of them are professional victims. 10, 15 kids in. They don't want to work. They can't work. They got 10, 15 kids. 3 of them in the juvenile justice system. We got to do better as a society. It's not easy. I don't have all the answers. But I do have some answers. I can't solve all society's problems. But I know that if you really want a job and you really work and you really have a good work ethic, somebody's going to give you a chance. And when you get that opportunity, don't squander it. You can't blow up when people disagree with you at work. I did that. I made that mistake. You got to be able to humble yourself. And you got to be able to show up on time and be reliable. And you better do your job, too. They're paying you to do a task. Don't get mad at them. The man want me to do this. Man, quit all that mentality. They're paying you to do something. Whatever it is they pay you to do, then do it good. Be the best at it. No matter what it is. You know? Anyway, share your thoughts and give me a like and subscribe to the Pen and the Shank upcoming prison and crime related content channel where I'm doing a lot of creative things. Go look at my videos. It's a little bit different than the other channels. I know this YouTube thing is hard. I'm trying to break into it, but I'm not giving up because I know I have a good voice and I know I have important things to say that people like, and I know I have creative stories. But I gotta break into this system, this so-called algorithm. My algorithm is God. He breaks it all, but I still got to do my part and study and try to figure it out and put this content out. Give me a like and subscribe. I'm trying to make this thing come up. Anyway, let's get it.